And Recharge is keeping an eye on possible tropical development in the Atlantic. They've got us sort of wondering, how do businesses plan for hurricanes using weather forecasts that still have a lot of uncertainty?
And here to discuss how businesses are able to take concrete actions using forecasts that still have a bit of mystery around them is our business weather expert, Paul Walsh. And Paul, when we have a storm or hurricane threatened, we want people to do some advanced planning to prepare for their families. But what about retailers and businesses? Do they have advanced plans in case a storm or a hurricane threatens?
Yeah, they certainly do, Paul. They go back and they study in great detail the effect that prior storms have had in terms of sales and how people buy differently. For example, when there's a hurricane threat, one large retailer found that they stocked out of strawberry Pop-Tarts. So having that kind of information, they can then basically develop a plan so that when a prediction of a hurricane looms, they're able to make sure they have enough of the kind of products that they might need, like strawberry Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts sounding good right about now. So how do these plans actually come together?
Well, what happens is they start to look at long-range forecasts initially. They use those for general planning guidance. Then as we sort of move closer to the event, they actually use probabilities to trigger distribution of products like strawberry Pop-Tarts. So right now, as we're looking at Florida, large retailers are probably using probabilities to determine exactly how they need to react to this because they have to act in advance. And then finally, once we get right into the teeth of the storm, they use weather forecasts very specifically to do things like determine when to close stores and then, really importantly, when to open them back up again. So the weather forecast and the actual weather is tied very, very tightly into merchandise plans.
Now, Paul, when it comes to businesses, what should people know about this year's hurricane season?
I think, Paul, one thing that we should all be prepared for is a big impact if we have any storms this year. And despite the fact that we're predicting a relatively quiet year, we have no idea whether or not any of those quiet storms are going to hit the coast. So I think we need to be very, very prepared. And I think that this year, particularly in Florida, if we do have a landfalling storm, the impact is going to be very significant. You're going to want to make sure you have a lot of product early and you want to react early.
All right. Thanks so much to that, Paul Walsh, meteorologist and business weather expert for the Weather Channel.